quiet it's been in.
I know, it's deafening.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're on.
Hello, folks. Sorry for the delay. We had mechanical difficulties. Welcome to the Selectmen's meeting of February 15th. Everyone is present, and we'll start as usual with our town clerk's report.
All right. I've been wanting to talk about the low temperature sensor that we have for a while. The 2 days that we had issues with our boiler, I came in the second morning and walked into the hallway. It seemed a little cool, but not bad. And then I went into my office and it was cold. Well, it turns out, I figured out after that, indeed our boiler had shut down again. We got that taken care of. But the heaters in the hallway are electric, as opposed to running off the boiler. So if the boiler shuts down, our sensor is still being warmed by the electric heaters in the hallway. Now, chances are we're never going to have an issue, but just a thought, we might want to put another sensor in one of the rooms that is heated by the boiler. They could just be in parallel with the existing one. Actually, I think they left the old thermostats when they replaced them, and we could use one of those. So if you want, I can look at that. But it just seems like it's kind of silly. If we lose power completely, then indeed the sensor, well, I don't know how long the alarm will stay working then. But
Battery that...
yeah, I don't know how long the battery lasts. Probably not as long as it takes to cool the building down.
Well, is there a separate control in your office at all, at one point, or any point?
Control.
Well, your temperature control.
Well, every room has a thermostat in it.
Okay.
The problem is if the boiler shuts down, but we still have power, the hallway stays heated.
Yeah.
And that's where the sensor is, the low temperature sensor that goes to our alarm that will alert the alarm company that we have a low temperature. But if the hallway's heated by the electric heaters, then that won't trigger.
Yeah.
Whereas in these rooms where we have bathrooms and running water, we may get very cold because the boiler isn't running.
You don't have any idea how much that would cost? A couple hundred?
Well, just trying to find somebody to do it. So
Well,
Once I get a deputy, if I can do it, I'll do it.
oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Personnel policy, I spent a little bit of time on. We're getting closer on that. Still needs a while though. QuickBooks, we do need to upgrade because there's no way that we're going to have Trio up and running by the end of the month. And once our QuickBooks goes out of support, we lose our payroll capability. So we will be spending that money, unfortunately. In the scheme of things, I guess $450 is a lot, but I was trying to avoid it. Workers' comp audit, I believe everything's been submitted. Correct. Good. Collections, we went from 91.3 to 91.8% collection on the 2021 tax commitment since last week. If you go down to the 2019 foreclosures, I've gotten 5 return receipts of the 15 owners notified and 1 of the 5 from the 5 mortgage holders that were notified. Again, our foreclosure date is March 21st. I added the, in the line above that, the past due, I added the accounting on the 2021 taxes. So I'm going to show the 19, 20, and 21. So we're, let's see, out of 3, maybe 8% of the tax. Well, yeah, it'd be 8.2%. Because if I subtract 91.8 from 100.
That works out.
That works out. Okay, I don't know what's up with O'Donnell and Trio.
I talked with Dennis and Dennis didn't seem to know what I was talking about. And I think maybe the talk with John took place when Dennis was out due to his accident. So he was gonna talk with John, and I will remind him again, maybe he forgot, because
Okay.
John was supposed to give a reply on that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, other than that, it's pretty much the same old, same old.
Do we have anything back, Harvey, on the generator people?
No, I haven't heard a thing from anybody that wants to come out this way. I'm gonna start looking for some more other people to do it.
Okay.
Tough to get them out in the wintertime, I guess. It's too cold for them.
Yeah,
Do the people that advertise in the shopping guide,
Durfee,
big enough ones? Yeah,
I had them come here before,
oh, really?
Yeah.
and I was on, I shouldn't say under false representation. I gave them misinformation, as if we'd want to power the whole building, which the kitchen itself, because that's an electric, it was like astronomical generator you need.
Right.
So he looked at the panel and gave me a idea on powering the whole building, including the kitchen, which was outrageous just to do the kitchen, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Knowing what I know now,
yeah.
we wouldn't worry about that huge oven, you know, you could use an electric range or something, you know what I mean, a normal one if
Yeah.
there was an emergency, you know.
Well, there'd be two ways to look at it. One is we can look at full power, keeping the kitchen viable, and adding a propane type of stove or oven in there,
Right,
which would, if we put in a generator, it would be require
I don't know what-
propane to run the generator.
Right,
So
anyways.
we could get it right
I don't
into
know
the
what
kitchen
that-
area.
oven or no idea, you know, kitchen components, you know, I don't know.
I mean, you can't get any more efficient as time goes on electric heat. I mean,
Right.
it is what it is, the physics of it, so
Right.
a newer stove wouldn't be any more efficient.
Right.
So, yeah, we could probably recoup some money, assuming we could find
The right buyer.
the right buyer, yeah. Yeah, but personally, I think changing over to a propane stove of some
Yeah.
sort would be the way to go. And there's also that, the water heater in there that heats dishwashing water, which we wouldn't need.
Yeah.
As soon as we can get our hot water working sometime.
well,
Right.
have we done anything with the idea of making this an emergency or talking with the Red Cross?
I've called the Red Cross and can't get an answer. So I've got one other avenue. The chief of the EMS gave me a card and said he could find the people that would come down and tell us what we need to do to make this building viable for our emergency area, which is one of the things that I'm going to be looking into, but I haven't got that far yet. And we've been busy with other things at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly one of the, it would seem, valid spending criteria for the funds we got from the federal government.
If we can find out
So if
what
we
we
have to
can
spend
use.
some money on that, and there's nothing else more pressing, that would be a reasonable thing to do.
Hopefully after we have that webinar with the state or whoever
Right.
that is, to find out what we can use it for, then we can really pursue it.
We'll be listening in on a MMA webinar, the first part of March, that gives us some guidelines, we hope, on what we can spend this money for.
Good.
We'll have about 216,000 maybe by the time
Yeah.
it all gets accumulated, so.
I'm hopeful that's the area that we can work on, and not use it all, but use
Right,
a
no.
portion of it.
That plus internet capability for everyone. I mean, there's some good, valid items we have out here. It's just a matter of making sure we can use the money for them, and getting some pricing on how much they're gonna cost us.
Yeah.
So. I just see this down the bottom here, and Jesse, you were gonna, about electronic disposal?
Well, I have not got that far, but yes.
Okay, because,
No, I mean,
no,
I'm gonna be looking into it, but they had to wait until they weren't gonna talk about anything until they had the scale set up
okay.
before they.
There was something on one of our local channels, 613, I don't know, that said that electronic waste was becoming very valuable now because of, and I don't know what,
Something
the
that-
battery component or the circuits or whatever, but it was becoming more valuable, and if you wanted to know how to get rid of your waste, call your town hall. Well, I said, whoops. Don't call, no, so that's just something, let people know we'll be working on, and it will be a, I'm sure, drop off for a fee, hopefully to the Tri-Town, and that we'll be negotiating with Tri-Town if we can do that as to the fee and
Right.
who's going to pay it and how much and that
Right.
type of thing.
I'd like to get it, to know them a little bit better to pursue that. Even if they pay a
Well,
premium.
I'm quite friendly with the Porter Selectmen, but they're not on the Tri-Town board. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm
They
hoping
don't have anybody on the board?
Well, they do, but the guys that I'm friendly with aren't on the board. So, I mean, I want to look into it, and hopefully we can work together as something that'll help them out. Maybe help pay for their scales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a quicker time period than whether they were just.
They can make some money from our electronic waste and we
Correct.
can get rid of the
We
waste.
can get rid of it, have
Yep.
an option, so it would be a win-win for, well, I shouldn't just say Porter, I mean, the three towns combined, you know?
Yep.
Well, that would be the hope. I mean, we made a lot of progress with the EMS
Right,
working together. Maybe they might be a little
I'm hoping.
amenable to it.
hoping, yeah, we get enough generations exchanged on the Tri-Town committee, they may forget that we didn't join them when they started.
Maybe.
Maybe.
How long ago was that?
I have no idea.
I think it was 95. I
95?
may be wrong about that. I don't know why that number sticks in my mind. I wasn't involved at all, but I think I saw that somewhere.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Is the comprehensive committee, the new members will be sworn in, is it tonight or?
No, it'll be the night of the 22nd at 6
Okay.
o'clock, and David has kindly going to come out at that time or around that time to swear them all in at the same time, which will save an enormous amount of time for them to come in and so on and so forth.
And it looks like we just signed the appointment sheets today. It looks like we have some outstanding people that want to participate in the committee.
Good. How many
Looking forward.
people do you know?
Pardon?
How many people?
There's 10.
Good.
Yeah.
And, Harvey, obviously, some appeals board members, some planning board members, some just regular, if you want to call, citizens. So, I have great hopes for that. We've reviewed last week's agenda and bills. There's no ads. The CEO report is on gathering information. We will be charging a fee to the solar company for the solar farm down by the old box shop. The CEO's been looking at 3 or 4 different towns, Limerick, Baldwin, to get some guidance as to what other towns are doing and how much they're charging. We've got a few more things to check out, but we're currently looking at about $9 per $1,000 of cost. So if you do your multiplication, if we're saying that this project's $4.5 million, which is what the company is saying, the solar company, which means that the permit for the project would cost $40,500. If that's the number. Now, we're not sure of the number. We'll know next week when we have some more information, but they're eager apparently to get going on this, and we're eager for them to get going, so it would seem like we're well underway. The sheriff's report, we had the sheriff's report last week. Animal control, we had our report last week from the animal control officer. Jesse, do you want to mention what you came
there
up
was
with?
I guess because we share an animal control officer with Cornish, they had a little more concern over it than what we have had. She's been making more trips than years past. It seems like by her reports that a lot of them are just a stray cat or a loose dog, that it never really turns into anything, and she was in trying to help the town save a little money. If people seemed willing to take care of their problems on their own, as in if they already had a stray cat caught, they would take them to the shelter. The shelter was not accepting them. They would only accept them from the animal control officer. So I called and spoke with the shelter, and they're quite adamant that that's the way it needs to stay. And if that's the case, we're paying $50 to $100 every time she's got to go get a stray cat. So I guess we're just gonna talk about it more amongst ourselves and with the Cornish selectmen, maybe even further talk with the maybe the director at Harvest Hills. If someone's willing to take an animal up to save the town $50 or $100, then don't see what the big deal is in that, really, myself, other than just call for every little thing, but times are changing, whether we like it or not. It's too easy for people to just pick up their phone and think the animal control officer is going to fix everything, and then on all honesty, most of the time when she goes out for a stray dog or more or less a loose dog, the dog's never there when she gets there, and and she knows that when she leaves. But if she doesn't go, then her name's mud. She doesn't go look. So it costs $50 to have her come out to look for a dog that's not there, or $100 if she has to make 2 trips with the cat. Has to come out, set a trap, leave, and then come back and get the trap regardless. And if the cat's there, she has to take it to the shelter. Whereas if someone didn't mind taking a cat to the shelter themselves, So anyways, we're just trying to look at a way to keep the costs from rising even further than they already are. And that's really I won't say it's a minimal cost, but it's a small budget item in the grand scheme of things. But why not help every bit we can, I guess.
And I haven't looked at the contract for a couple of years, but as I remember it, we pay Harvest Hills about $1,900 a year, $1 for every person. That's the fee. And there's nothing in the contract that says, that I remember anyways, I've got a pretty good memory still, there's nothing that says animals have to be delivered by the appropriate animal control officer, that type of thing. It's just the fee for how much for each animal, so,
right,
or for how much we pay, whether it's 1 animal or 20 animals. The animal number doesn't matter, so we can review that contract, and then
There may be some state statutes that come into play there too. So
okay.
you have to check a little further than the contract, maybe.
But as Judge Judy would say, we're bound by the 4 corners of the contract.
Well, you are, but you may also be.
Well, right, but I,
Statute.
we'll have to see what, I mean, what happens if someone's driving along the road and sees a dog that's obviously injured or, you know, whatever, and they take it there? What are they gonna, they say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not a licensed,
Yeah, right.
whatever, I know. So, but we'll check into that. I mean, certainly what Jesse says makes sense. If someone wants to volunteer to take an animal
Yeah,
to there,
yeah.
thank you. Not, you can't do that. I mean,
Right.
anyways, thank you, Jess. There is a planning board meeting tomorrow night. Nothing of any significance. It's probably all significant, but how can I put nothing out of the ordinary? Everything's significant and important. As some of you may remember, we've had a court case for a couple of months now in district court, Mr. Nelligan versus Mr. Moreau concerning 22 Reed Lane. The court came back with its decision. Basically, the bottom two sentences, they cite a lot of different things here. The Board of Appeals sent this case back to the planning board. And at that point, Mr. Nelligan's attorney sent this case to the district court, and it says the remand by the Board of Appeals to the planning board was within its authority. So the Board of Appeals was within its authority to send the case back to the planning board. And it says accordingly it is ordered, and the entry is appeal is dismissed. So the court felt that the appeals board should have the authority, it does have the authority to send the case back to the planning board, and it will continue from there, I guess, if they want to continue the case. So that will probably be on next month's planning board agenda. Comprehensive committee, as we talked about that, Harvey has contacted 10 people who volunteered, and it looks like we have a great group. Nothing on Secaucus Road. Is everything going okay as far as you guys know with the trash and the condition of the road and all that stuff?
Well, it's hard to tell that till spring. Right now.
But you can make it down without losing your fillings?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
almost,
that,
yeah.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
not too bad right now.
No, I mean, it's gonna
Get messy.
turn into what it always is pretty quick.
Yeah.
As far as the trash, there's a couple of feet of snow on top of some of it, so I'm sure there's plenty of it underneath. So it's worked out so far, semi-well, so.
The road's wider than it's ever been, because
It's a nice
we
wide
used to
road.
plow it with a pickup truck and could only get it so wide, but they plow it with a big truck into the shed now, so it's wide as it is all summer.
You still do
We still do
the camp?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the corner in.
Harvey, there's a note on here about updating the environmental site assessment for the solar project. Was that done or finished or in process?
I don't know. That's a good question. Secaucus Road Solar Farm.
I remember they were talking about that a few weeks ago, and I thought they had done it or were working on it.
Well, I'd have to check back on whatever information to get a hold of Acacia and see what they've done, but I think they've done everything that they're supposed to do.
Right, I think that's true too. I think that got,
An environmental assessment should have been done very beginning of the project.
yeah. I think this is maybe an old filed concern.
As far as it,
Nothing on Robinson Mill, Stanley, the Stanley Building, however, we were waiting for some information on our attorney to talk to the attorney for the people purchasing the mill. Our attorney wrote to the attorney representing Mr. Collins concerning a lot of 8 pages of information. In one of the counterclaims, which directly affects the mill, I'll just read what our attorney wrote. A lot of preliminary information, but wherefore the town asks that this honorable court find and declare that the mill property is no longer burdened by the easement, and the town be awarded its damages, costs, and attorney's fees thereof. So if this gets approved, to me this says that the mill and the mill property owners have no responsibility for the Stanley Building and the sewerage of the Stanley Building. And as I understand it, the people who wish to purchase the mill, this was their last concern. So that I don't see how we wouldn't have any reason to go forward if this process gets approved, or this, whatever you want to call it, joinder request gets approved by the court. So that was filed yesterday. I hate to say how long the court will take, but hopefully not long. Nothing on Saco River. Rescue. We had a workshop with Rescue last week. We had some concerns, mainly around dates, because our dates are different than the other 3 towns as far as inception and payment, that type of thing. So Bruce Thibodeau of SACUP Rescue Chair is going to come in and talk to us. We thought today, but probably next week, hopefully next Tuesday. We just had a few changes. We wanted to make sure, of course, that they approved of our changes. And hopefully we can sign that in the next week or so. The other towns, I think, did Cornish sign theirs? Jesse, do you know?
I left before they signed it, but I believe they were in the process of doing it when I left last
Okay.
week at their meeting.
Do we have any carpet and floor care? Do we have any information on that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
He hasn't called me back.
No. No, I never got a hold of him. I never reached out.
Oh, okay. Kinda like to give him a hand.
Yes.
There was some concern about snow removal. Based upon Mr. Collins' attorney saying that he can't get into his building because the town is, or someone's plowing snow on the sidewalk. That was from a few weeks ago. Debbie gave us the main law on snow removal. And sidewalks, there are no state statutes that require property owners to remove snow from sidewalks. However, towns and cities might have local ordinances. We do not. And in the Stanley Building's case, the snow was removed from the street by the state. They plow the road. And it's incumbent upon the owners of all buildings really to shovel out in front of their building, especially a commercial building, if you want business, or you would certainly be encouraged to remove the snow on your sidewalk. And that's what, if you want entry into the Stanley building, we would encourage Mr. Collins to remove the snow from his sidewalk in the front of his building. And then he'll be able to access the building with proper approval.
Well, the one thing that catches my eye on this, it says no town is liable to an action for damages to any person on foot on account of snow or ice on any sidewalk or crosswalk.
Right.
But that's okay for the town, but I'm not sure what it is to the homeowner. I don't know what action that is. And a lot of times the snow is not removed and people are walking in the street to get to where they're going.
Well, that's something. Do we want to put a
Well, I'm just saying.
regulation in saying people have to clear the sidewalks? Let's talk about that.
Well, we can get some people mad at us, I guess, for doing that, but
Well,
in other
it seems
words,
we have a lot of regulations.
well, if you go to any of the cities or anything, they tell you have to have it cleared within a certain amount of time. You know,
Right.
like 4 or 5 hours, you've got to have it done, and you're responsible for it. So, not that we're a big town, we only have one sidewalk, and it's probably maybe 400 or 500 feet long, and there are people who walk the road to get up to the dollar store and whatnot, and then we have the daycare right there. You know, they use the sidewalks. Probably we should look at it as some responsibility to the homeowners. So, I don't know. Whether we maintain it by hiring somebody to keep the sidewalk clear, that's another thing. So, we have money for sidewalks, so we could use that
Not much.
possibly for clearing the sidewalk. So that's where it's at.
Okay, I mentioned the MMA webinar Zoom meeting on ARPA to make sure we're expending the funds properly. Spirit of America tribute invitation. The last person we nominated for this was a few years ago, Doug Hawkins. I've got a couple people in mind for this time, but I'd like to discuss it with the other selectmen. I don't really want to suggest somebody and then have them say, I don't want to do it, and that type of thing. So I'd like to clear it with the person, with the people that we're thinking of, or I'm thinking of, and we can go from there. But I do think there are a few appropriate people. ATV trail system, all sorts of, just trying to see where this, well, just about the trail system, there's 65 inches wide and 2,000 pounds. State of Maine new size. Now, as I understand Maine law, which is very limited, we can make the size smaller and we can make the weight less, but we can't make it more or bigger. So that's something we'll have to talk to our snowmobile people about and see if this makes sense or doesn't make sense.
ATVs.
ATV,
Yeah.
snowmobile, thank you.
no.
This-
ATV, absolutely.
This is, I'm certain that this is to keep vehicles off from the trails. You know, they were having trouble with people, Jeeps and stuff, riding on the four-wheeler trails.
Oh, okay.
And so they put a width minimum. There had been a width minimum, and a lot of the old Jeeps fit the width minimum. The old Jeeps, you
The
know what I'm saying?
maximum.
Yes, the maximum fit. The old Jeeps fit the maximum width,
Okay,
and also some of the new side-by-sides are enormous.
Yeah.
And so they put the width reduction, and now they've put the weight limit. That will
Okay.
keep all the old Jeeps off from the trails. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Because
yep.
but the side-by-sides, everything will, except those new great big huge ones, will be fine. But I'm certain that the weight is because of
Okay.
the people taking their vehicles that are on the road and driving on the trails with them.
Okay, well, we can talk to our ATV.
He stopped by last week and spoke with Harvey.
Oh, okay. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
Well, he said
Anything?
the same thing. He just came in, he had to notify us. and Consider it done.
She seemed comfortable with it? I mean, it's,
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's just doing what he was supposed to do.
okay.
He had to, do due diligence on it, I guess.
Okay, is anyone,
I have one question.
yes, sir.
On the solar update, request to update the environmental site assessment, who made that?
It came from
I
Rich
think-
Jordan.
The solar farm,
It
that
came from
people,
the solar farm, Rich Jordan, Richard,
Okay,
and he sent it, I just sent him an email. He sent this December 17th. And best of my knowledge, I did not get it back. It's a questionnaire, that's all it was a questionnaire.
oh, okay, all right, okay, I'm just
I
curious.
sent him an email asking if he did receive it back, and if not, does he still need it?
Well, this stuff should have been done a long time ago, maybe he just has to redo it, I don't know, but, okay,
or it could be all done.
it could be.
I don't know, I never got a copy back to send to him, so.
Jess, you all comfortable?
What was it?
Our distinguished guests. Jeff, you got anything?
Yeah.
I know.
The information you gave me last week on the Long Pond Association,
Yes.
that wasn't really much help. I did talk to Judy, you said she has the answers.
Who has the answer?
Judy?
Judy Ingram.
Yeah, she didn't have the answers.
Okay.
I called the state. The state really doesn't have too many answers.
What are we looking for answers for?
Like a septic study on Long Pond.
Oh. Well, the only person I suggested was Deb Heine. She was the president.
Yeah, well, the state doesn't even have any real.
Well, but they might have, I know they talked about doing it and did it.
They did a study on runoff on the roads,
Okay.
basically.
I think that
Really,
included septic systems too, Jeff.
Yeah, not according to the state.
Well, maybe it was an internal,
Yeah, they said some people weren't cooperating. But back to the treatment of the pond with the alum, if there's still contributors to the problem, like septic systems and runoff and fertilizers, the alum's not gonna last for a long time, and they don't really want to treat the pond unless everybody's on board and following these,
Mhm.
guidelines, because the alum treatment can't be used. I think it can be used a couple of times, but it's not, can't be used, all the time.
right.
From what
They were hoping to get 25 years out of it, is what I was initially told.
I was told 10 to 20,
Or 10 to 20.
and that's if
Well, they can hope they can get 25.
if the contributors don't.
Correct.
Some
They
issues.
never really pinpointed what, I don't believe anyways, they ever pinpointed anything. At least I never saw a study or heard from anybody that they came up with any reason one way or the other what was going on.
Before I would spend any money, I would like to try to find out who's got viable septic systems on the pond and who doesn't.
Right.
Jeff, you realize the town isn't spending this money.
Right. But still,
So it's their money, and if they want to be stupid about it,
okay.
It's not, we haven't given,
No.
we haven't given a cent to the fund, it's just, I don't think they've even asked for any.
they did, but I think they got $1,000. That was the last,
Oh,
from the last,
well, I'll take that back then, I guess they got $1,000.
but it's,
I don't,
and I don't know who told me, Jeff. Maybe Deb Heine, but I'm not sure. That they had people conducting a survey of all the camps around the lake concerning the septic, whether their septic systems were good or bad, runoff, all that information.
Right.
Now, what they did with that, I have no idea. but they at least thought of that as a potential problem.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll look back at my emails and see if I can find any information.
Now, would the code enforcement officer have a report of that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Because this is nothing that, unless they volunteered it up, this is nothing that we required or anything. This is all what they've taken upon themselves and
Right.
paid personally out of pocket.
And
It seems like it's only the past couple of years, 5 years.
What's that, the algae bloom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, just about 5 years now, I would say.
yeah, and if the alum gets used and the set, let's say there's still runoff and stuff, then what happens is that covers the alum, and then they're right back.
Right. There's also, from what I gathered, I wish I had a recording of it, the woman that came here and spoke from the state probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Tiffany was here 3 years ago, 4 years ago? I don't
I
know.
think it was 4 years ago.
Boy, time flies.
Yeah. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, were you there?
Yep.
To my recollection, she was talking about something that she didn't even allude that it has to be runoff or septic or any of that, or fertilizer, runoff. It could be something that was in the bottom of the pond that just released. That rings a bell in my head. There's something that's in the bottom and then it finally releases or uncovers or something happens and it releases, and when it releases, it's, I don't know, it's phosphorus. I can't remember what it was, but 4 years ago now, so it's a wonder.
Okay, it's about,
Have you checked the Sucker River? They do testing.
yeah, but it's the contributors is what I'm concerned about. If people are still fertilizing their lawns and using weed killer and not having a buffer on their green lawn, the green lawn, and then they're supposed to have actually a natural buffer to stop any runoff to go into the lawn. If that stuff continues, then,
It's phosphates in the laundry soap and it's fertilizers.
right. And a lot of the camps used to be just for the summer, but now they're being turned into year-round homes. And then you got the Airbnbs that claim this camp can sleep 18 people. So there's going to be put a stress on whatever septic system is in that house, whether it's a 55-gallon barrel or.
Well, yeah, that should be something that we should address.
Some other
At
towns
some
are
point.
addressing that.
Well, for sure, and the camp that we replaced last year that's exactly what it had. It had an old oil barrel with a rock pile had an oil barrel for a tank, and it had a rock pile for a
leaching field.
Yeah.
And that was the oldest place on the pond, but I'm certain that there's likely a few others that still have the same type setup.
Yeah.
And that was on the end that's flat. Now, you put that on the other two sides that are shaped like this,
Right.
right to the pond, and it's gonna go right to the pond. So,
Do you have a health department in this county? A dedicated health department?
Do we have a health department?
Like, say, York County.
Right next to our public works department. They share a building. No, we have
and our fire
a
department.
we have a doctor.
Do the health department, in other communities and counties, they have a health department. And they would, along with the agricultural, they would team up and go after problems like this.
Well, the pond people, that's good, have done, I think, a very good job in
That's great.
identifying the
Yeah.
problems and trying to rectify them and
Yeah.
collecting the money and getting grants from the government. I mean, they,
But it's a matter of the health department, they have the authority.
Right, that's the thing. These people don't have the authority. If somebody wants to say, no, you are not doing anything on my property, they really don't have much to say. But
but if it's an illegal system, then they could call our CEO and Working it that way.
Authority to say, this is not up to,
right,
or it's failed. There's a lot of systems that were legally put in, but they have failed, or they're obsolete now, and they do not need to be coached, and so that's what has to happen. The septic system works wonderful if they're maintained one, but
not everybody has a Presby.
I was going to say that.
you know, there's a simple system, the old
do
school
you,
stuff.
can we, Do you have anything pertinent you'd like to add pertaining to the mill?
Yeah, well, as far as the sidewalks are no problem. And we'll take care of the sidewalks from the bridge all the way around to Chalmers. But we've got to get,
What-
you know, snow storage ability for the sidewalks. Get back to your sidewalk question.
The sidewalks, but when were you planning on doing this? June.
We're gonna
I'll do it July and August.
I've tried with the plow truck, I've tried with the skid steer, I've tried with the snow blower.
Scott, you might want to check because DEP may not like having salt and sand brought down to the mill property.
Well, it all flows there. I'm talking
I
about.
know, but DEP's involved.
You know, I'll have to check it out, all
Yeah.
angles. But,
Just a suggestion.
they have direct vents off the bridge that go right to the river. And the kids that shovel the bridge, that get paid from border
Right,
up to the mill.
right.
And they
But there's no one just,
You're allowed to snow blow it into the river, but you are not allowed to scoop it into the river.
Now, see, they told me the opposite.
Really?
Okay, so I said, well, I'll have to ask again.
I think you better ask again.
Because
Because then
they are shoveling.
well,
and
I
that's
think
the
they
thing.
probably can shovel it, but you cannot mechanically, like with a bucket loader, Maya went down there, you can't scoop it up and dump it into the river.
Okay. So they scoop it up with shovels, it's all by hand.
They try, they do well, they should have
they're
quit a long
great.
time ago.
But then, as soon as, I've seen them out there today, and I go out there to help them, and I do the entrance to off the bridge,
Yeah.
and I'll take some of their snow and push it down, and as soon as it melts and it goes there, that's where it goes. It's gonna melt, go downhill.
Right.
The mill
Yeah,
is
yeah.
one big funnel.
Catch, yeah.
For drainage. But, we have to get something that'll fit on that, so.
That guy he had the absolute perfect setup. He had like a 26 or 8 horse tractor that fit exactly on the sidewalk with a snowblower. He had it on the back, and he'd literally go across the bridge once in the ditch. You know what I'm saying? Not the ditch, but the
Gutter?
whatever you want to call it, the bike lane. You know, not the what. And then he'd come back across on the sidewalk in 2 passes. It'd be clean as a whistle. But you have to do it. He had to do it right after they plowed, because the second it freezes, you can't touch it with anything else.
I've seen these poor kids.
They've been trying.
Oh, they get it done. Here comes a snowplow. And it gets on the curb and throws it up against the railing and everywhere where they just
Yeah.
did it.
No, that guy would do it whether he did it once or twice a storm, and it was clean. I don't know if you remember that.
Reese.
You remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know Dave and Reese there on Federal Street? They live right next door to the old town hall.
Yeah.
She gets out there and shovels the whole sidewalk up and down in front of their place and the entire length to the corner to Stewart.
Mm-hmm. To her daughter.
And then the snowplow will come by and throw it. She throws it onto the lawn. But the cleanup guys plows right up to she's done. And then it's at night, it freezes, and then it's back to
thank you.
square one.
Okay, folks. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Weather permitting.